Hey everybody, welcome to the Love Movie Podcast with Musty Man CB, Money Man and Free, and the hottest goddess, Lady Z, with our special guest tonight, Christiana Hamilton. She's the founder of the Hamilton Collectives, and she's with us tonight. But before we get into her, we're going to get into our sponsors, and we really, really appreciate them for helping us out. It's been a good ride. Today is my first day while it's daylight outside at 7 o'clock because I was measuring mine by being
sleep.
What?
Night.
And we want to thank, first of all, the People Party with Broadview. And don't forget, they got early voting right now for everybody that's part of it. But the People's Party will be introducing themselves to people for lunch on the 23rd, which is Sunday at Uncle Remus. So we really, really appreciate them for, sponsoring us, and that's a beautiful thing. And then we got the Kelly Clifton Tax Service. Oh my God. She specializes in everything, and you guys need to give her a call if you need your taxes done. 708-408 8760 708-408-8760. She's bilingual and she specializes in a lot of things. And then we got our Johnny Vaughn Transportation Services. He does grocery runs, he go to church, he take you to church, he do everything. So I appreciate you, Johnny Vaughn. You can call him at 708-834-4025 708-834-4025. Then we also have the Blue Note. And the Blue Note, we did I was a moderator for one of her Single and Mingle events that's past Saturday, and it's good. And they have an upcoming event that's coming up. We're going to do one more. But I had a lot of fun with that. I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you, Lakeisha. And we did a good job. And then we have Viola Shy, the dispensary here it's in Broadview, but they changed the name to the Village Dispensary. So they're no longer Viola Shy. They're the Village Dispensary, and we got Daniel Pettigrew, and it's a beautiful thing that they're trying to do. Specials every day. They got gummies. Y'all eat gummies? Y'all. Look at it. I ain't said outside. What you mean? This is
on with the sponsor.
If you okay, I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna do what I have to do. And so we had a good time. And then we got the View, and they have a regular schedule. On Mondays they show a movie. Then they do the comedy after the movie, and then on Tuesdays.
Wait, who shows a movie?
The View. No, the View.
See, we got to keep up.
Yeah. So, well, you sit there and drink and eat all the time, and you don't.
I ain't never watched no movie in there though.
Monday nights. Tuesday night is Taco Tuesday. Wednesday they sometimes have live music and stuff like that. Tonight is a special night. They do happy hour where they have the drinks and food, on the happy hour menu, and it's a beautiful time. So. And then also we had Stacy's, and I went to Stacy's today, and I had beef stroganoff. I haven't had it in a long time. And Stacy's, they do good right there in Billwood, Illinois. So we're here, and we want to thank our sponsors. We also want to thank our followers. Our followers that's what keep us going when we have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 viewers and at a time, and it's like, a beautiful thing. And it's special to me. But last week you guys had your friend
Kamisha Holmes.
Yeah. How was that? What was that like?
She was awesome. She's a great person, so it was a good person to have on the show.
Okay. And
per usual, everybody that we have, we make sure they are very, very special.
Okay. And then we had this. I love Chicago. This is why we had 75 degrees one day and then 10 the next. So it's snowing.
What was up with the brown rain yesterday?
I know. And hail.
That's scary. It was some brown rain.
Really?
Yeah. And
My
hell
daughter.
too.
So
Cos was
it was dirty from heaven to
Yeah, I'm like,
be
what is going
in
on?
purgatory
And whatever it
in
was,
between.
it didn't come right off because I went to the car wash, but it didn't wash right off. Like I had to go in there twice.
Oh wow. Oh
Mm.
wow.
I
Yeah.
don't know
And
what that
then,
was.
like I said earlier, we had the local elections, and vote for the people that you feel that you like or they gonna win. I got my nephew Tavion Johnson running for Park District of Maywood. So I want y'all to vote for him too. All you Maywoodians, come on out and let's get it on. Who's running for office that you got in Indiana?
I prefer not to see. I'm a Republican state, remember? So I'm
Oh,
That's
not.
that's right.
okay. But you a
Mm.
Republican person too.
My daughter says I have Republican tendencies.
And
It's
now
possible.
your
I
daughter
do.
got to explain what that means. What's Republican tendencies?
So she says, as much as I feel like I'm a Democrat, I do have some ideologies that lean towards Republican views in regards to abortion and just the way the family, the dynamic of the family, character and the morals and the integrity.
And and that's okay. Everybody has
And
their
Republicans
own
got
way
their
of
values
living,
too.
and
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I'm
I
saying.
agree.
And hey, listen, enjoy yourself. Cause I'm gonna say when you check out, ain't no checking back in, ain't no rewind buttons. So whatever you believe in while you're on this earth, enjoy it, have fun with it, or whatever the case might be. And then I had my friend Pastor Wiley, my man, had his 34th celebration, his
Woo woo.
34th anniversary. Oh, you talking about an awesome time. We had
Yeah.
a
I
great
wish I
time.
had
It was
known.
packed house and the whole 9 yards. And
Was that
on
the
that,
church?
on a sad note, we had I lost 5 friends.
Mm.
Buried my uncle last week, and then between burying him, 5 other friends we lost. T-Bone is gone. Betty Simmons from Proviso East, she used to be a
Yeah.
parapro, and she's gone. And it's just, I mean, and life is life, and I feel that I'm on deck. It's that age, you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
you never know what might happen. So it's very important that you love the people that you love right now. That's why we call this the love movement, because hey, we might not be here. So, but then we had let's clear up some ish. And I said it this because I thought about you when we met. We were at the airport, and you were going to a conference, and I was going through a steppers convention.
Mhm.
And with the question I asked, and I wanted you guys to cling in, how do we get the younger generation to start in the stepping game? How do we get them back? Because I seen on one of your uh, pages, you had your friends and they were
Mhm.
dancing, they was doing that. How do you think the young age? What do you think, Toya?
I think it's about the beats, honestly, because R. Kelly kind of really captured a bunch of us that weren't into stepping before. But when
Stepping in
he
the name of
stepping in the
love.
name of, he grabbed a lot of people with that song.
Okay.
So I think that it's gonna be because younger folks have, I hate to say this, shorter attention spans, and um, the beat matters. Honestly, I think, and if you don't come from a family like that has an appreciation for all music,
Yeah.
and you haven't seen it or been exposed to it, then I wouldn't gravitate to it if I was younger. But I was in an arena where it was around me, so that's what attracted me to it. But I think if you want to really capture the young folks, it's going to be about the beat.
It's about to be.
Well, I agree with that as well, but it's also getting back to the basics, like Toya say. If that's what we grew up on, and if our generation really don't know how to step for real, how can we teach the younger generation? That means it could end at some point. So we first have to learn how to step ourselves, so we could lead by example.
Right.
And yeah, can't be having old folks in the club fighting and stuff either, because
But
like we had last week.
when
So
I was
again, lead
growing
by
up,
example.
they're doing classes now.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
didn't have classes. I started at the Keeman's Club, west side of Chicago, on Kilpatrick and Madison. And if you couldn't step, they made you go upstairs until you learn how to step before you could come
That's how it used to be a
downstairs.
rainbow skating rink.
And that's just how it was. Don't come in here messing up the flow of everything. And stepping is part of our culture.
It is.
And we've been doing it for a long time. I talked to a few people. One of the guys said, he said, man, they got to change the songs. The kids that were not born, you playing the songs that when they not even born to.
Right.
Yeah.
They you playing some 60s and 50s music. They don't want to
got
hear
some
that.
nice songs now they can
I was
step
at a
to.
spot the other night. I had to text the dude, say, man, play some upbeat music because
Oh,
we
you had to
falling
tell
asleep. Yeah, I texted. And then he said, okay.
You know you outside when you got the number of the DJ.
Hey,
Right.
listen.
Let me holler at you.
And so it's part of it. And some people are saying, and because I put it out to a lot of people, they're saying that you have to get the how can I say it? You have to give the confidence of the people that's teaching you how to step.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They don't want to. The young girls don't want to be worried about being harassed. The young girls don't want to worry about the teacher, trying to hit on them and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different factors to it. But I hope we can get a lot of younger people involved and keep the movement going. Because before it was stepping, it was bopping.
That's what I was gonna say.
It still be
It's a
popping.
sexy dance to me. I mean, if you connect to the music like you should when you're stepping, it really is intimate. It can be intimate.
It can be
Yeah.
very intimate, and it's a level. You have different levels. You got those fancy dancers, and you got the spinners, and you got the ones that's slow and smooth. So
Mhm.
it's like you said, it could be very sexy. Are you a stepper, Miss Christine?
I am a trier. I try to do everything. I try to jump double dutch.
Mhm.
I try to dance. I try everything.
You got you a fan?
In regards, oh no,
You ain't got the boots on the ground yet.
I'm not. That's a level, like you said. That's a level up.
I gave me a fan.
That's a level up.
I gotta practice
I
that
gotta
one.
figure that one out.
I'm ready.
Girl, it's
Well,
gonna catch
listen.
me up.
Our special guest is special to me because how we met during COVID at the airport, and I was going to a steppers convention in Dallas, Black and Bling, and she was going to a real estate conference, and it was like we met. It was like
It was kismet.
huh?
Kismet. It was meant to be. It wasn't like it was forced. It was organic. We ended up sitting next to each other on the plane.
Last-
I think we might have forced that one because at that point we was having a good time.
I think we was like 2 or 3 in, right?
We're
About
trying
2 or
to
3.
figure out how we get 2 or 3 more.
Right.
And it was a good time. But this girl right here, she's always been special to me. A real estate agent across the metropolitan area, Chicago, Indiana. She got it going on. For our experience with you tonight, tell us a little bit about you and how you got into the game of real estate.
Well, if I have to be 100% forthcoming from the beginning, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, but how I got into real estate, it was a man. Both times I had a boyfriend and a boyfriend and a boyfriend that got me into real estate.
What that mean?
I know.
Exactly what she said.
I
You
had
know
a
what that
boyfriend
means.
on the East Coast and told me, come get your license. And I was like, for what? He's like, I'm gonna pay you, come get your license. So that's where I started on the East Coast. So I got my license there. And then that relationship unraveled, say that the nice way. And so then I came back home and then I started dating my ex-husband, future husband at the time. And his family was into property management and real estate. And they had quite a few properties on the south side of Chicago. And so his mother was like, if you want to work here, you have to get your real estate license. And once again, I was like, but why?
Mhm.
I did not know then that years later it will become a niche for me. So where I progressed from that point, so now I've been in a business a little. Well, once again, my name is Christiana Hamilton. Hello, everyone. How are you? I've been in the real estate game for over a decade. I'm with Keller Williams right now in Naperville, and I am primarily licensed in Northwest Indiana.
Okay.
I have my journey now, I know, is to serve. And so through me having that passion to serve, I do a lot of volunteer work. And so I volunteer on several boards, Women's Council of Realtors. I'm a board director. I'm on the diversity committee. I chair the diversity committee for the board. And I'm about community engagement. I'm about affordable home ownership. I always say there's a difference between home ownership and affordable home ownership. And I started the Hamilton
So
Collective
tell
just
tell us the
recently.
difference between affordable home ownership and home ownership.
So for me, people, there are buyers and there are buyers. So if you can buy a home, there are families out here that can either are in the position to pay cash for a home. They have family that can gift them monies to purchase a home. They have relationships with people that will allow them, they have good credit. They have the opportunity to purchase a home. Well, there's a difference between that buyer and a person that has the opposite, no opportunity. They don't have generational wealth. They don't have a family member that can gift them. They don't have cash. They need affordable home ownership.
Mhm.
So there's a difference.
Mhm.
And so in my journey, my goal is to be able to identify who that client is, and to be able to serve them either way. It's either a lay down. You got a 700-800 credit score, 700 plus. You need a 700 plus, 800 credit score, and your word in some instances that you will pay your bill. And depending on what you look like and where you come from, the lender will say, okay.
Mhm.
And in other situations, when you don't have those advantages, then the lender is likely to challenge you a lot more.
Mhm.
And those are some of the clients that I deal with that have quite a bit more of a challenge in regards to affordable home ownership. Can they or can they not? Can they put all the pieces of the puzzle together to give the underwriter what they're looking for, so that they can receive those golden words, clear to close?
Clear to close. I love that word. It was
Mhm.
so funny because I bought my house in Westchester. It was September 23rd, 2021. I had my diagnosed with heart disease September 23rd, 2019. So 3 years later, I'm just happy to be here. Y'all just don't know. But this is one of the questions I have. One of my friends, she posted that she was looking for affordable housing, but she was looking for an apartment. Her budget was 1,400, and she was just looking for 2 bedrooms. I put on there. I said, "You can buy a house for that much mortgage." What do you think about that?
There was a time when you
Mhm.
could. Right now, the average sales price, your average monthly mortgage payment is somewhere around $2,800.
Yeah.
That I have a buyer right now that is interested in purchasing a home. They are paying $2,700 a month in rent. Together, they're a married couple. They can afford somewhere roughly $400,000, and then they tell me, "Oh, but I want my payment to be $2,000 a month."
Good luck.
I mean, yeah, the reality of that is, probably not.
Slim to
The
none.
reality of it is you're already paying $2,700 a month. And so the goal would be, instead of allowing landlords to get rich in their sleep,
Exactly.
to create your own generational wealth, and create that your own equity into a home that belongs to you.
Okay,
Give you an asset.
and that's Toya. You had a question that you was asking. What are the challenges as it relates to you getting into real estate? What are some of the things that you see that's a stop sign, the pros and cons?
From what aspect? From being a realtor, or just being in the purchasing as from an investment point of view?
Well, both. As a realtor first.
Whew. As a realtor, it's important, in my opinion, to be an advocate for your client, to advocate. And the only way you can do that effectively is to educate yourself. When you become a realtor, they tell you the first hardest thing, or the first hardest part of your path, is passing the test. Yeah and no. Passing the test, I mean, if you're a good test taker, you can pass the test.
Yeah.
It's when you actually pass the test and you start making those real decisions. Who are you going to hang your license with? What type of culture do you want in your brokerage?
Mhm.
Do you want a brokerage that has a name and that has all the gimmicks, or do you want a brokerage that's going to actually put you on your path and educate you, provide you with resources and tools? Do they have leads? What can they offer you? What can they provide you? Then after you get into the business of real estate, understand that being a realtor is not about opening doors and writing contracts. A lot of people think, oh, I saw this podcast, or I was watching YouTube, or I saw this television show, and all I got to do is get in the game and I'm about to be rich. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not that. It sounds good. And if you are afforded, here we go again, back to the same opportunities. So I'm in this leadership academy, and we did the privilege walk the other day. And we did it by asking questions in regards to where you are in your real estate journey. And as with any privilege walk, no matter where you start, by the time you are challenged with experiences and faced with all of the things that will be thrown at you, where you actually land is going to be definitely a different place from your counterparts. So So in being a realtor, you are more understand that you are a representation of you represent your client. You have to be an advocate for your client, and that you do more. You have the ability to do more than open up doors and write contracts. Period. There's so much more to that license than that. We can go into that later. In regards to being an investor, or on the other side of that, it's about, I want to say location, but not necessarily location. It's about understanding where your opportunities are. It's about understanding what it's going to take financially to put you in the position. And then there's so many things. Do you want to buy and sell? Do you want to buy and hold? Do you want to flip? Do you want to rehab properties? As with anything in life, is you have to figure out, you have to have a plan and then execute that plan. Otherwise, you'll be all over the place, because there are so many routes to where you want to be. So have a plan.
Have a plan. Yeah.
Mhm.
If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. That's just how it goes. And that's in a lot of things in life. Now tell us, you got a license across the country. You could sell a house or real estate, whatever, across the country, East Coast, whatever. Tell us the difference between Indiana and Chicago. What is the scope,
Okay.
the situation?
So in essence, yes, with a license, you can, in theory, sell across the country
Mhm.
because a relationship is all you need.
Mhm.
And get paid, because all you have to do is get a referral. So you can take your client wherever you want to in the country and still get paid. So in theory, yes, you can sell across the country, but that's about relationships. The difference between selling in Illinois and Indiana, for me, two of the biggest differences are, no pun to any Chicago realtors, but in Indiana, you are highly educated. There are no attorneys in Indiana. You are the attorney. You handle everything. You handle the inspection. You go over the contract. It's you. So if you do not know what you're doing, you will you will
Fail.
you will fail. You will put your client in jeopardy. You will not put them in the bed. You will not give them the leverage that they require over the other side of the transaction. It's you. There is not, when you get to the closing, there is a title company. There is no attorney. The title company they are your escrow. They sit both parties at the table at the same time, and everything is on the up and up. I guess that's the best way for me to describe it. It's all you.
Why isn't attorneys involved in Indiana? Is it just a preference thing, or is
No.
a reason?
So our contracts are legally drawn, and we only have one board. not in the state of Indiana, in our area.
Okay.
Whereas Illinois, they have 10, 12 boards or more, and they have different contracts, and they're all taught differently. So it's where the attorney comes in. The attorney comes in to make sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, no matter what that contract is.
Okay.
But then for me, and I hate to go into it like this, it does bring about some scrutiny because they also select, if you allow them to, they select the title company. If a relationship is built there, then they can build in they can pad some of your fees and make it a little bit more expensive for you to purchase.
So with the standard contract, it is what it is versus you have some leverage when you can basically adjust.
Well, there are some other things. In Indiana, your contract has expiration dates throughout the contract. It is time sensitive. In Illinois, it's not. The only date really in your contract in Illinois is the date that you close, and that can be indeterminable if, for instance, you have an attorney that is trying to litigate your contract instead of negotiate your contract. The difference with the attorneys is you might say, hey, my friend is an attorney, I'm going to use her because I know she's not going to charge me much. Well, keep in mind, the attorneys can pad your title fees with the relationships that they have. So where they may only charge you $300, you might be paying a lot more of that on the other side. But they are your attorney. They close you, so they're only going to show you what they want you to see.
Interesting. How would you ever know that?
I know because I work Indiana, and in Indiana, the title company does your closing, and because both parties are there, everything is on the table. They go line by line by line. So now when I see a HUD statement, I know exactly what that is, a wherewithal of what that cost should be. And we also see it up front in all of the fees with the title company. But like I said, when you have this plus that sitting in front of you, and they're just telling you sign this, sign this, the likelihood of you saying, wait a minute, what's that?
That's right. Yeah.
Is you're just like, I'm here. I got my clear to close.
Right.
Let me sign these documents and get my keys.
Yeah.
So what is some of the what do you think with 47 being in office? Where's the real estate going? Where is it going right now?
So I can tackle it a couple different ways. First of all, the president really doesn't dictate what happens. Let me say this, the president does not dictate what happens in the real estate industry. However, his decisions do impact what goes on in the real estate industry. So, I mean, we all know what's going on with the tariffs. Think about this. When he put the tariffs on Canada with new construction, that is where most of the good lumber, the lumber that we use for the solid wood that we use for construction comes from Canada. We can get wood from anywhere, but the wood that maintains the wood that they use that has the strongest, that will allow for the strongest foundation is in Canada. So when they put the tariffs on all the goods coming in from Canada, understand that eventually and very soon, that will start to increase the cost of materials again. In regards to real estate, like I say, he doesn't say, oh, the real estate industry, now you're going to, but what he did do is he put the tariffs on, I forgot which, is it China? Where's the gas come from? I think it's China.
He got some in Canada. He
And
got
some in
in
Canada.
Mexico.
So what do
Certain parts.
of
the
So what do we do as realtors every day? We drive every day. When he put the tariffs on the parts that come from China that have to do with our automotive repairs, when our cars break, we need to make sure our cars are sustainable so that we can get back and forth. So there's a lot of ways that it impacts, and those are just very small identifiable ways that it impacts our industry. But when you start to think about the home prices, well, obviously new construction, just recently, not even a couple months ago, new construction was our sweet spot. And that was because when you couldn't find what you wanted in a pre-existing home, at least you could go to new construction and get what you wanted. And those prices were starting to level out from the higher prices that new construction was during COVID because of what was going on at that time with the transporting. Well, now here we are again, narrowing our sweet spot in regards to what's about to how those tariffs are about to impact the cost of new builds. When you start talking about buyers, the gas, food, inflation, all of that impacts the bottom line of, yeah, you might be able to afford the mortgage finally, but now can I put food on my table?
Right.
So he does not directly say, hey, I'm going to increase what's going on in the real estate market, but every decision that he is making is impacting us on every level. And it is creating this real estate bubble that, in my opinion, is going to burst. We are looking at a space where we were in 2006 through 2009. So here we are, glad because we finally got our dream home at a 3% interest rate. But, and I don't know if this is leading into your next question, but you have this equity that was built we were the unofficial beneficiaries of COVID in regards to the equity that was formed when everybody received those 3% interest rates. And now they were saying, oh, I got 50, because remember, this is not your bank money. This is not your cash money. This was bank money. Mm-hmm. So when they were saying, I'll give you 30,000, I'll give you 40,000, that wasn't your money that was in your bank. Because I promise you would not have been doing that with your cash money, but you did it with the bank money. And then that is when the home prices started to trickle up. Mm-hmm. But what it did for current homeowners or homeowners that were able to buy during that time is it gave them anywhere between $50,000 to $85,000 in equity in their homes. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. You have that now, and you're paying that with a 3% interest rate. However, the downside to that is, I say, if you're in your home and you don't have to downsize and you're good and your home is in great condition, great, stay. But if you do have to, if selling your home is on the table and you're feeling like you have outlived your home, say you're of a more mature age and those two stories aren't working because you can't even get up the stairs anymore and you've been thinking about selling your home, I say sell it now, because the equity that you have in your home, in 3 years your home might not be worth that. So yes, you'll be going into a higher interest rate, but you'll be going into a higher interest rate pretty much at a pace where at least it will hold its value, as opposed to holding on to something that you have right now, which probably has, 100, 150, 80,000, in equity. And then, because I don't know if you guys understand with the appraisals. So if your home is here and it's worth this much, let's talk about the impact again with Doja, with all of these jobs. Like I just saw something in this morning when
tell us about Doja, since you mentioned it, and then we can understand a little bit.
I'm going around everywhere. Right. So I'm going to, in layman's terms. So I'm not 100%, but from what I do know is Elon Musk and Donald Trump have decided that there were parts of government that they wanted to gut, that we don't need them. They serve no purpose. I mean, I have my own opinions about why they really want to gut those specific areas, but I know education was one. The Treasury Department was another. I can't think of the department that deals with the armed forces. Well, the DOJ was another. Mm-hmm. And so they decided that a lot of that had to do with, I believe, Agenda 47. And they're wanting to create loyalists within the government. And so there were 50,000 jobs, don't quote me, but I'm somewhere around 50,000 jobs that were elected positions that he wanted to eliminate and replace with loyalists that would agree and do what he wanted to do.
708-223-8953. If you got any questions about real estate or what it buying or selling or whatever the case might be, give us a call, because this young lady, she's sharing her knowledge with us and we really, really need it. Tell us how you came about Hamilton Collective. What was your purpose for that? Because I see that you're on a lot of boards, you're doing a lot of things, you're having a lot of seminars, you're conducting. Tell us about Hamilton Collective.
So, in being an advocate in the real estate community, my goal and my purpose was to be able to make sure that I represent my clients to the fullest. Um, uh, and in my journey, I've several times I've had agents come to me and say, "Oh, well, Christiana, I want to, I want to be on your team, or if you're hiring, I'll take you." And part of life is about being prepared. Um, and at the times when they were coming to me before, I wasn't prepared to mentor. I didn't think I had it in me for whatever those reasons were. And so at last year, a young man came to me. I was throwing a diversity event, and he was just like, "This is it. I love it. I love the community. I love, what you guys are doing, what this is all about. I want to be a realtor." And I was like, "All right." So he went through his class. He got licensed. He became my first team member. And so then he said, "Well, Cristiano, when are you going to give me leads?" And I was like, "Well, we didn't really discuss that part." But I know with leads in our industry, they're not always solid. I mean, you pay for them, they may pan out, they may not pan out. So I decided that in order to be able to fulfill this team, I would create organic buyer pools. And so that's how the Hamilton Collective was pretty much brought together. And so in creating those organic buyer pools, my goal was to serve not just my team, but also the clients that I represent. And so I had the Foundation of Equity. That was the first event that I had. And at that event, and it was amazing because nobody really knows who the Hamilton Collective was, but I was able to capture Jimmy Stewart from Chicago Housing Authority to come out and talk about Section 8. And a lot of people don't know that you can use that Section 8 voucher to be a home ownership voucher. You can also, did you know that?
Yeah.
You can also, that voucher is good for upwards 30 years. You can also use that voucher for new construction.
A quick question: are they years from now able to sell their homes, the ones that purchased it through Section 8?
Yeah.
Oh,
so there is
that I didn't know.
So it's yours. So what came out of that information is they give you so instead of them giving the landlord your portion, you get that portion directly. They deposit it directly into your bank account. And so when I found that, I was like, wait a minute. And these people, they actually, and it works. He was like, yes, Christiana. He said the failure rate is probably like it's very, very low. He said, but most of the clients that are on the program only stay on the program for like 6.9 years, because when you level up everywhere. Mm-hmm. And so the program works. I mean, they only require, now you still have to get approved for the loan, but they only require like $3,000 of your own savings in the bank. You can get, if you can transfer that voucher, it can take up to maybe 3 months to get the voucher transferred. It is within the Cook County limits, but yeah, he came out to give us all of the information he had about Section 8. I had Alicia Sanders from Cook County Land Bank, because I spoke to the investors. I had one of the nation's largest off-market companies. They did $15 billion in the last 3 years. And so I wanted them to come out and talk about all of the off-market properties that they offer, and the ARV, and just how, if you're an investor or a homeowner, when you don't have the supply, that you have two major components that sit right here, a lot of people don't pay attention to, which is Cook County Land Bank and any off-market property, that you can find your dream home or your dream property, or, because how many times have you driven down the street and saw a vacant piece of land or a vacant building and not known, you couldn't call and figure out where it came from or how to get access to it? Well, Cook County Land Bank, your off-market property. So I also have Fabiola Candlish from IDA. And she came out to talk about all of the down payment. She does a down payment assistance for the state of Illinois. She came out to talk about the requirements and what the capacity was, in regards to what the monies and the grants that they have. There's a difference between the down payment assistance and the grants that are forgivable and you don't have to pay them back.
That's what I
Now,
need.
all of these
Yeah.
people that you've named, are they part of Hamilton Collective?
No, they're actually the people that represent those companies in the community. So when I say affordable home ownership, a lot of people don't understand. Even with your local municipality, you can stack. HUD gives the villages and the cities additional monies for down payment assistance, and you can stack that with whatever grant your lender actually has available. So, like for instance, Chase has a $7,500 grant that they give within certain communities. If you are aware with whatever, and there's still funds available with whatever grants that are available within your local community, you can take that along with the grant, stack it together with the lender, and then use that for your down payment.
That's awesome. And listen, do you do commercial properties
I
well
do.
as
Mhm.
well? And that's good too. So what do you think within the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, how is the real estate industry going to be operating?
So every life has its cycle. You have a cycle that comes in 4 parts. So you have where everything is good, and then you're at the like in the clock. So you have that quarter part where you're maintaining and but you're starting to see some shifts. Then you get to that halfway mark, and I feel like that's where we are now, where there's clearly some insight as to something about to happen, a definite shift in this industry. And it's at that point where people have to pay attention to where they are and start thinking about their plan for the second half. And so with the second half, you got to understand, like, whatever goes up must come down.
Okay.
And then it recycles back up again. So we're in that point where that shift is happening. This is my opinion. And it is time to pay attention. And if you have multiple homes, then I feel like the home with the most debt, keep. The home with the least amount of debt, as I said earlier, sell. Pull out that capital and put it to the side. Because when these homes, I just looked up a home over in the Wrightwood area for 79th and like Sawyer, Whipple. There were 8 homes that had already went into foreclosure. I understand that the appraisal that you have is those foreclosures are going to impact your value. So when I say the homes that you have the most equity in, cash out and put that money up, because when the bottom drops, if you really want to get into real estate, if you want to be an investor, if you want to have the opportunity to do something better, when you're on that cusp of coming back up and those prices drop, because that's what's going to happen. Some of these higher interest rates that people are in right now, it's going to be a point where the banks are going to have to, because of the market, they are going to have to renegotiate some of those bank notes somewhere, and at some points in some areas up to 50%. That's why I say the one that you have the highest debt in, keep, because you'll be able to renegotiate that. And you'll get that price point that you want to be. But the ones that you have the least amount of debt, cash out, because when the opportunity comes for you to buy when it's low, buy when it's low.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You have shared with us, and we really, really appreciate you, because there's a lot of people out here that's struggling with the decisions they make to buy a home. Like the young lady, she wants an apartment. She gets it for she was looking at 14 to 1500 as her budget. I guess I was blessed because that's my mortgage in that area, and I don't have
Seen
to.
that in a long time.
And
Right.
that's and so seniors, be aware of how this market works for you in your behalf, because she's saying if you got equity in it, sell it, put that money aside if you want to do something else, because a lot of young couples are buying and buying and buying, and hopefully they have a good real estate agent like you that could share the real information, because some agents are just hustlers. They just want to be hustling out here, getting that information, getting that money, or whatever the case
And they
might
want to
be.
take the picture with the key.
You know what I'm
closed.
saying?
No, it's important to be the
and-
gatekeepers of our community. We
Yeah.
have to, because if we don't, I mean, our grandmothers and our grandfathers, they did their job. They created the generational wealth. But how many times have you heard the story where, oh, my auntie lost her house or my grandmama lost her house?
Right.
You didn't have to, but education plays a big part in that.
And
It's our job to be the gatekeepers of our communities.
yeah, and that's very important. So, but we want to thank you, Chris,
Thank you for
and you
having
for
me.
sharing and giving us that
I
information.
appreciate it. It was
We
a
really
pleasure.
appreciate you, Wanda. We finna check out, and we gonna do as we always do at the end of our shows. We ask everybody, treat people the way you want to be treated and never give up. Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you.
You're
It
a
was
boss.
pleasure.
You're
I
a
appreciate it.
boss, and we will definitely have you back when this market change and administrators change. We're gonna see how it works and then how it shifts again. So thank you. This is the Love Movement. God bless you. Okay.
If I need her to come through, turn up with best friends. All to we follow, she want to. Female version of myself, couldn't be with nobody else.